Quite a few of my coaching clients have been asking me about the Tom Ferry Success Summit. And they asked me point blank, Patrick, do you think I should go? And so I give an honest assessment of the answer, and I just reflect on, in my 20 years of being a part of thousands of some of the biggest and greatest real estate training events in the history of the business, and attending 3, 4, 5, 6 a year because I have to, today, what's my value? What do I get out of attending these events? And this is where I'm going to ask you back. So I'm going to go through my list of the 5 things that I get out of attending events, and then you make a decision on whether or not those things are important to you. So let's dig into number 1. First and foremost, today one of my high motivations is to go network and to build and deepen relationships with all of the great agents across the United States, because I like agent referrals into San Diego. So, I love referrals into San Diego, and my wife has just, probably closed 5 or 6 already year to date. So for me, expanding my network, deepening relationships, and connecting with a bunch of great agents. Now, very important note, I do not go to events with a stack of cards and put them all over everywhere. I don't think that really works. You probably get a piece of business here and there, but in reality, I like to go connect with agents, meet new agents that I've never met before, expand my network of great people, ask lots of great questions. So for me, that's my number 1 reason why I love going to the events. Number 2 is, personally, I like to go to the events, especially, Tom, my brother's events, because man, do I need to get re-energized. I need to get re-enthusiastic and inspired by the business. Listen, all of my friends who've been at this for a long time, that's one of the reasons why we do it, right? And most of the agents who don't realize that they need a recharge, a reboost for enthusiasm, and to get their mindset out of kind of this negative rut of just working your face off, man, if you haven't recognized you need that and deserve it one time a year, you're missing the boat and you're probably underperforming. So re-energizing is my number 2 priority. Number 3 is, I like spending time in that environment. Listen, Tom and top agents and panels, and I like to be thinking and reflecting about my business. What's happening with my business as I'm listening to everybody else, and then start writing my plans and kind of revisiting my goals and rewriting some new goals and evolving them. So just being in that environment and listening to so much going on, I don't really care if I learned anything from anyone. I'm reflecting on my business and my plans and goals, and I come out of there with a bunch of new quality goals and plans for myself. Okay? And I big shout out to Alex Lair, one of the most successful agents in the Bay Area, and he said to me something so profound. He said, look, Patrick, he said, I sit in the middle of the row in the back, and I have the notepad of the event, and I have a separate notepad, and I'm just working on my business while I'm there in the environment, and I can't go anywhere. And he says, I love it. And I've seen many of the top, most successful agents, they always have 2 notepads. It's the one of the event, and then it's the one over here that they're actually thinking through their business. So that's a great one. Number 4, of course. Now, I love hearing some of the opening remarks from Tom about what he sees in the trends. I love hearing about the latest new kind of technology, the latest marketing initiatives. So that stuff, his forecast of what's to come, right? Those things are phenomenal and are worth the price of admission for what are you going to learn, right? Of course, number 5 is I love going to and hearing all of the other top agents. it's really great to hear the top agents explain what they do and how they do it, right? Now, sometimes you hear just one or two golden nuggets, and if I did, phenomenal. But it's also an opportunity for me to go, am I doing that thing that they're discussing? Like, let's say they're talking about geographic farm, and I'd like, thinking through, okay, what are they doing with their geographic farm? What am I doing? And is there any changes that I need to make or improvements that I may make? If someone's talking about their listing presentation, that's always exciting. What are they doing? Am I up to standard? How's mine in comparison to what they're up to? And what can I do to move that thing forward? So having access to a bunch of top agents explaining what they do and how they do it, and really don't sit there and be like, oh, I didn't really learn anything new. No, you're there to reflect on what you're doing, how you can improve it, and listening to inspiration, listening to mindset and attitudes, strategies, or tactics, so that you can then maybe make some adjustments to your plan on that specific and then move it forward. So, to me, 1 through 3 are 100% why I'm there. And then all of the great content from Tom and the top producers, that's like the bonus. It's the icing on the cake. But what I've learned is a lot of agents are like, oh, I went to an event and I didn't really learn anything new. I'm like, that's not why we're there. So anyways, I hope this is helpful. Now, for those of you that struggle with networking, let me give you a bonus, okay? So I was a painfully shy young man, and so going into these big events, it was very difficult, and I had to develop a lot of kind of networking skills, and it really took me a long time to do that. So let me just share with you really quick some of the important networking kind of skill sets that I picked up along the way. So number one thing that I've learned, which is I think really cool, is when I'm walking down the hall, I pretend like I know everybody, and I smile. And I just make eye contact and smile, make eye contact and smile, and I just try and pretend like I already know everybody who's around me and make eye contact and smile. Now, that's not easy to do, but man, has that gotten me out of my shell and got me into a lot more great conversations. And it's actually just a lot more fun versus trying to avoid eye contact with everybody because you're insecure. Do I remember everybody's name? Of course not. But I just pretend like I do that. That's a great one. Number 2 is I learned this from a mega top producer who told me this. He said, I always go into every event with 3 really big questions about my business. Okay? And he says, I carefully write those down based upon opportunities I'm exploring, tools and technology I'm curious about, challenges in my business right now, strategies that are important to me. And what he said to me was genius. He said, so if I'm walking down the hall and I see a mega top producer that I'm aware of, or if I'm standing in line at coffee and I meet a great top producer that I'm aware of, I have an arsenal of 2 or 3 questions I can immediately just ask them. And these are super valuable questions to me personally in my business. And I remember I had the opportunity, I was kind of hiring my first virtual assistant, and I didn't know the first thing about hiring an assistant. And it was great. And Tim Smith got up on stage and he was talking about team, and he ended up sitting behind me, and I just was like, hey, Tim, can I ask you an important question? He said, yes. And I said, what's the one thing that you're doing right now in the hiring process with your staff that really is moving the needle? His answer has been a game changer for my business over the last 8 or 9 years. I am so grateful for that. One, I asked a great question that was important to me to a mega top agent. His answer has been significantly impact. So I love that advice. Have 2 or 3 really important questions you can ask to the mega agent. Okay. Number 3 is when you are walking down the hall, when you are at coffee, when you are in the bathroom, when you are cruising up the elevator, this is what you do. You smile, look over the person next to you and say, "Hi, I'm Patrick in San Diego. Where are you from?" That's it. Then you can say I would ask the question, "Hey, what's the most important thing that you're looking to get out of the event?" What's the most important thing you're looking to get out of the event? Right? What's the most important thing you picked up so far? What's the one thing that you're working on in your business right now? See, I've kind of developed just like a couple basic questions. Most important thing you want in the event, most important thing you're working on in your business right now, right? What's the one thing that you've learned so far that's awesome? Simple starts the conversation. But I always go, "Hey, Patrick from San Diego, how are you? Great. What marketplace do you work in?" And I just find out where they work. That kind of eases the conversation immediately. Follow it up with one simple question about, "Hey, what's the most important thing you're working on this year in your business? What's the one thing you want out of the event? And or, what's the most awesome thing you've learned so far?" That just gets the conversation rolling and it goes from there. Usually when I meet a pretty successful seasoned veteran agent, one of my favorite questions to ask them, I've never met them before, and I find out that they're a veteran agent, very successful. I will ask the one question, "Hey, what's the one lead generation source where you get the most business?" That's one of my favorite questions, because when I hear like, "Well, I'm really good at geofarming or expires or direct mail or online leads or Zillow," or whatever that thing is, that answer gives me my follow-up 2 to 3 questions, because when I find out what they're really good at, then I start digging in. And again, by the way, this is how I create great relationships with lots of agents across the country, because I learn more about them, where they serve, what they're good at, what they're working on, what's important to them. And those conversations, whether or not it's 2 minutes or 15 minutes or leads to having a beer or coffee or, going all the way back, like those are amazing moments. Add them to my social, right? "Hey, let me follow you on Instagram," or connect with you on Facebook. "Hey, give me your card," and I actually put their contact in and send them a little text message or something, right? So those are just little tricks. And I forgot one more thing. Make sure that when you sit down, make sure that you initiate introducing yourself to the 2 or 3 people around you. And I think it's really fun when you actually switch seats a lot. So, kind of moving around a little bit and meeting more people just by proximity, sitting there and enjoying the environment with them. "Hi, I'm Patrick from San Diego. How are you? Nice to meet you. Great. Where are you from?" "Oh, cool. Great. Hey, what are you working on in your business right now?" "Hey, by the way, I'm Patrick. Hey, this is Bob or Susie. Just, where are you from? Great. How are you? Blah, blah, blah." Simple questions. Boom. Conversation flows. So again, guys, I am not a network. I am not an expressive, not high I. I am painfully analytical. I was shy as human possibly. So these things have helped me to create awesome, expansive relationships inside of the environment and make my events so much more fun, so much more rejuvenating, and get massive amounts of value. So I look forward to meeting you. Give me a high five at the Success Summit in Dallas here in 2022. Get online at thetomferry.com, reserve your seat, call the team over there at the company and get yourself registered. And guys, I look forward to seeing you guys over there, and have an awesome day.